So begin by just taking a moment as you arrive on your seat to just notice your body, how it is today. Taking a moment to notice sensations and how your body's feeling in this moment. And include your heart and mind as well. You may notice you have a smile on your face, or you may be struggling with something today. Whatever's here, simply allow it, knowing that it's temporary. And I encourage you not to hold on to this energy. So whether you're feeling some joy or you might be having some difficulty today, just allow it to flow. Let it bubble out, vibrate, buzz. And so we come into a relationship of allowing, but not clinging. And as this energy is buzzing or bubbling or flowing, if it's joyful energy, you may find yourself feeling bubbly and bouncy. If it's difficult energy, you may find yourself feeling some release as it flows away. Simply allowing the flow to be. If you find you have a lot of energy and it feels a little overwhelming or big, just simply imagine that you're sitting in a safe, big, natural space, like a meadow or a beach, and just give this energy more room. You may find as you give it more room that it settles a little. Simply noticing what's arising and allowing it to flow. And in this way, we can enjoy what's happening. If we have a lot of bubbly, joyful energy, smile on our face, we simply enjoy it. If there's been stress or difficulty today and we find it flowing away, we enjoy that it moves and doesn't have to be stuck. Again, if the energy is big, giving it more room. And you may do this a few times. You give it room and it settles, feels a little more tranquil, and then it builds again. And you have to give it more room again. Finding a nice balance with the energy that's here. And we can stay with it as energy. We don't have to jump into the stories about it. We can just simply be with it like this, much less entangled. And this evening, I also invite you to notice the feeling tone that's present. If you're feeling a lot of joy, allow yourself to fully have it and just breathe it through your system. If you find yourself needing rest or ease, allow yourself to fully have that. Letting go of any pain and just breathing with the resting. Allowing your whole system to rest. Whatever is here is okay. Conditions are such. Today it's like this. and allowing feelings to flow. No need to cling to them, whether it's joy or rest. Just having them, allowing them. Today it's like this. If your mind goes into lots of stories, simply come back to the energy or the feeling tone that you're having. And just begin to let it flow, allowing, being with. In this way, we stay present with our experience. Today it's like this. Today it's like this. So this evening I wanted to extend welcome to everyone. And I wanted to extend a welcome whether you are celebrating today or you're not. You know, some of us are having a grand old day and some of us are having a really hard day. And so I just want to say that everyone is welcome here, whatever your day is like today. One of the things that really stands out for me today is that we are passionate about our politics. Across the board, we are passionate about our politics. And I just want to take a moment just to check in, just to note why. So I just invite you for just a moment, just to close your eyes for just a moment and feel into your own experience. And just to sit with this question of, what do you hope for our country? You know, this is part of your passion. What do you hope for our country? And take a moment to just name a couple of things. Things that you deeply wish could be true. And now notice why. Why do you want these things? And what personal stories have you lived or experiences have you lived that may have influenced these passions and devotions? You may have known some great joy or some great pain that has fed your passion. So you can go ahead and open your eyes. So as you can see, politics is personal, right? And our politics reflects our very good heart. It comes from our good heart. The things that we care about politically come from our good heart. They come because we care, because we love, because perhaps we've suffered and we don't ever want someone else to suffer that way. We may not agree on how to achieve these good things. We may in fact disagree on how to do that. But most people would probably say that if you look at what you're looking for our country or for your politics, it's that some variation of we're looking for freedom, we're looking for happiness, and we're looking for safety. Some variation of that, We want goodness for all. And on that we can agree. On those kinds of things we can all agree. It's like, yeah, we all want safety. Yeah, we all want a healthy country. Yeah, we all want happiness. Where we get caught is in the how. I often use the symbol of the hand. Like if we stay down here in the pool, we can all agree together. Yes, we all want freedom. We all want happiness. We all want safety. But then when we get up here, the how is where it looks like separation. Now we start to argue, right? I think I've used the example before. Yes, we all want safety. And some people say, great, so we should have guns. And somebody else goes, no, no guns, right? And so this is where we start to argue. But we have the same good heart deep down. And that's really important to remember on a day like today. That we come from our good heart and want good things. There are some people who are Republican strongly because they believe in things like pro-life and anti-abortion. That's just part of their belief system, their religion. That comes from their good heart. On the other side, you can have Democrats that want freedom and inclusion for all, and that comes from their good heart. Or they want women's rights, and that comes from their good heart. So one of the things I always hold on days like today is that the country is filled with people with good hearts. And we just haven't quite gotten to the how yet, always. Can't always agree on that. So today at the inauguration, it was a celebration of the power of democracy. And for some, it was also an end to a very painful chapter for many people. What had become the norm, chaos and fear and a lack of feeling of safety, had eaten away at us. And so today what I saw was a lot of people wanting to celebrate a new beginning. And so part of what I want to just reflect on, because in these practices, what we're talking about is our own practice, our own mind and our heart, and how to end suffering in our life, how to have a better life. Days like today are a moment where we get to pause. It's like, okay, for some, the pause is, we're celebrating, it's great, there's hope. We take a breath here. Oh, the chaos is gone. We hope, right? For others who are not happy with the election, there's a pause of like, what went wrong? How do we go forward from here, right? So there's a big pause here. We can celebrate. We can also pause. And when we take a pause, we take a breath, we kind of just take stock, we feel where we're at, we acknowledge and honor where we're at. But it's also a moment to set intention. It's a moment to say, okay, that chapter has closed, here's where we are now. What's my intention going forward? How do I want to go forward? You know, a couple of weeks ago for the New Year's retreat, I had talked about restorative intention, right? What can be a restorative intention for us right now, going forward? The other thing that happens in this pause is that we sometimes have to reflect on what's the work that has to be done in order to make that intention come true. You can't just celebrate, or you can't just pout, and you just can't say, you know, it should be like this. There's actually some work to be done here. Yeah. I'm reminded of how, you know, our democracy has the words, you know, that it's of the people, for the people, by the people. You know, that's beautiful. I mean, sometimes I think we want giant magical grown-ups to do it all for us and take care of us. I can't tell you how many times I saw on Facebook today, oh, I think there's grown-ups in the room. You know, it's like, okay. Or even I have friends across the world on Facebook, and it was amazing to me how so many of them had this feeling of relief, like, oh, America's going to start leading again. And I was like, whoa, you know, they were like, you guys, you know, so many people look at you. And so I think we have this magical grown-up thing going. But really it's about us. If anything we learned in this last chapter is that democracy needs us, right? It is about all of us. So to that end, I wanted to do a little intention this evening for our country. Yeah. For those of you who know the loving kindness practices, I just want to invite you to share these words. And for those of you who don't know, you can always get the phrases on my website, Maureen Fallon-cyr. But you can just close your eyes and you can say them with us, or you can just listen. But I just wanted to take a moment of metta for our country. Yeah. Loving kindness. May our country be filled with loving kindness going forward. May our country be peaceful and at ease. May our country be well and healthy. May our country be safe from inner harm and outer harm. May our country be free. And may our country be happy and prosper. And I'll just say them one more time. And let yourself just really feel into this intention, to send out your intention for the health and goodness of our country. May our country be filled with loving kindness. May our country be peaceful and at ease. May our country be well and healthy. May our country be safe from inner harm and outer harm. May our country be free. May our country be happy, filled with well-being, and prosper. So maybe as you go through your evening tonight, no matter whether you're happy for this wind or not, that this could be your prayer or something like it. And then going forward, we have our own work to do. Because this is made up of us, our country is made up of our minds. And when we bring the healthiest mind and heart, then we have the healthiest country. And so, just again, leaning into this intention of what is mine to do? What do I need to do to let go of fear? What do I need to do to let go of greed or division, hatred, or delusional thinking, magical thinking that doesn't really hold true, particularly in times of stress? And may we wish this for our leaders, that our leaders have an opportunity to release their own fear and greed, release their own fear and hatred or division, and their own delusional thinking, particularly around what's called, right view. A lot of people like to think, I have the right view. It's like, well, actually, if we think about the 3 blind men and the elephant, probably we have something to learn from our brother and sister. Yeah. So we can hold this intention for ourselves and do our own work, and we can hold this intention for our leaders. And as we free our own mind and heart and do this work, and our heart opens and becomes more inclusive and more loving and more celebratory of all beings, it's not just enough that we do it for ourselves, but that we support and advocate for the conditions that allow that to happen for others. So I also have an invitation for you that as you do your own work, as you may prod your leaders to do their work, that you also support the opportunities that allow other people to do this work. And that can be whether you financially support somebody or something that teaches social emotional education or mindfulness or whatever. Or maybe you do it yourself. Maybe you volunteer for an organization. Maybe you find a way to help children get a hold of mindfulness and well-being practices. Whatever it is that you feel called to. All of us have a different calling. But something where you support others finding the peace and ease that you have found. Whatever that means to you. There's this quote by Alice Walker that I love. She says, "Activism is the rent I pay for living on this planet." I love that. Activism is the rent I pay for living on this planet. It's like, yeah, we're not just here for ourselves. We're here all together. We're all connected, and the world is getting smaller and smaller. We keep seeing that. What happens here, we see reflected in other countries. So what we do has a ripple effect. I would love for us to be a country that kind of has the frontier of social emotional intelligence. Could be awesome. Yeah. And finally, I wanted to, I don't know how many of you got to see Amanda Gorman's poem today. 22-year-old, amazing, evolved little human being who was quite inspiring. And she wrote a poem called "The Hill We Climb." It's just a couple of lines from it that I thought were incredibly powerful. I mean, she had so many great lines like, "We learned that quiet isn't always peace." Yeah, definitely learned that. And that norms and notions of what just is isn't always justice. Such wisdom, eh? So I'll just read a couple of paragraphs from it. Let the globe, if nothing else, say that this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew. Even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. And that we'll forever be tied together victorious, not because we will never again know defeat, but because again we will never sow division. We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, a country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burden. But one thing is certain. If we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. With every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world to a wondrous one. We will rise from the golden hills of the west. We will rise from the wind-swept northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked south. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner we call our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge, battered and beautiful. When the day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there will always be light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. Yeah. So, if you're celebrating tonight, enjoy your joy. And if you're not, or you're struggling with these events, I send you a hug. Everyone in their good heart belongs. And we just need to become more sophisticated with our own heart and minds so that we can share our wisdom without fighting, without righteousness, without pain, without putting someone else down, but to create something that is truly wise and wonderful and inclusive and mirrors the goodness of our hearts. So, I hope this is of support for your practice this evening. And I wish you all well going forward and look forward to sharing the journey with you as we just unfold our own hearts and minds to become that which we wish for the whole world. Yeah. So, good evening. Have a good evening, regardless of how it is for you. And thanks for being on the journey. Thanks for being willing to wake up.